welcome to another episode of the Duke It Out Wrestling Podcast, where I, Duke, talk about events from the past, present, or future in the world of professional wrestling. Now, AEW's All In broke plenty of amazing records for the world of professional wrestling. It has the highest paid attendance in any pro wrestling event ever, which is crazy to think about. And it had some great matches. We did have some distractions like the backstage fight with CM Punk and Jack Perry, but regardless, it was a fantastic event, and I will be making a video ranking the All-In card. It should be out later this week. But now all of that is leading up to All Out this weekend. And I do wonder if they're going to keep this tradition for AEW, because they did announce that they're doing All In again in Wembley next year. But the fact that two pay-per-views are so close together, which means from one Sunday to the next Sunday, you're spending about $100 in pay-per-views if you do buy both events. So I don't think that will work on a consistent basis. It might not bring terrific numbers this year, but it could. It could. I fucking know that side of the business, but I do find it a little strange, and I do wonder if they're going to keep it that way next year, or if even All Out could even be a thing next year. If they might just want to stick to All In and kind of drop All Out. It could happen, but we'll see. But I'm really excited for this show. Usually I have been able to go to the actual All Out event live over the past couple of years. I can't make it this year, but I'm still going to watch it, and I'm going to be very excited for what's to come on this card. And I'm really glad I decided to make this video after the episode of Dynamite aired, because I think they announced 4 to 5 matches for this show on Dynamite alone. So I would have missed out on a lot of shit. So I'm going to go through all 9 matches of the card, and I'm going to predict who I think is going to win, or who I want to win. And we'll see how many of these matches I'll get right by this Sunday. And the first match that I'll get into is the first match that was actually officially announced for All Out. It is Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. This should be a big, fun match between two beefy, meaty men slapping meat. This should be a really, really fun match. Both Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs are wrestlers in AEW that could really use a good momentum. And that's honestly what kind of makes this match pretty unpredictable. While Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs don't have any similar patterns throughout their career, they're both really big. They're both really big wrestlers and both of them are really looking for something that they could latch onto that could really launch them further in AEW television. And both of these men are much deserving of more in AEW. And I think most fans could universally agree with that. And it was really tough for me to figure out who I thought would actually win, because Miro's obviously a much bigger name. So they could want to try and boost him up more, especially because he was gone for a while this year. And also Powerhouse Hobbs is a former TNT champion now. Maybe the worst booked TNT champion of all time. But he is a former TNT champion. And so, I was trying to think of who I think they're going to pull the trigger on and have win. I do think it could be Hobbs, but I am going to slightly go with Miro, just because we have seen him in the ring a little bit less than we have Powerhouse Hobbs this year. So I think because of that, Miro's going to get that advantage win. And hopefully that can lead to another storyline for him on AEW Collision. And next match that I'll get into is a tag team match. This one was announced later in Dynamite last night, but I am really, really excited for this match. It is a tag team match with Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata against Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. I'm really excited for this. I've been loving the feud with Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Ever since they've been building tension between them at Blood and Guts last year, they've always had this kind of love-hate relationship, because in Eddie Kingston's promo last week building up to All Out, also saying that in a way like he loves Claudio. It was so funny. But I'm really excited to see how this match turns out, and plus because Katsuyori Shibata is one of my favorite wrestlers on the planet, so it's always going to be amazing to see him in the ring, and especially with Claudio. I'm really excited to see a couple sequences between the two of them. And this is obviously just a match I think they put this match on the card mainly to have these big stars on the show and to continue the bit of the feud that they have with Eddie Kingston and the rest of Blackpool Combat Club, more particularly Jon Moxley and Claudio. But this should be a pretty fun tag team match. I was curious on who was going to win because since Team Kingston won at All In, I think because of that, maybe we would get a win for Blackpool Combat Club at All Out. But it also is a little more unpredictable because they have Shibata on this match. So are they going to give Shibata that easy win, or are they going to add some heat to Blackpool Combat Club and maybe have Wheeler Yuta pin Shibata? That would get such big boos, and just because of that reason, now I kind of want to see it. But I am going to go with Blackpool Combat Club only because they lost at All In. So I think they're going to give the Blackpool Combat Club team a redemption win here. And the next match that I'll get into is another tag team match, but this one is an 8-man tag team match with Bullet Club Gold. Well, I always forget now that the Gun Club are officially a part of Bullet Club Gold. So it is the Guns, Jay White, and Juice Robinson against FTR and the Young Bucks. They had a segment building up to this, like a backstage segment that was apparently right after the FTR Young Bucks match at All Out, with them about to show respect to each other. Bullet Club Gold getting in the way and just talking shit. So now it's built up to FTR and the Young Bucks teaming up again, which we haven't seen since was it the first FTR match in AEW that they teamed up with the Bucks? I can't remember if that was their first match in AEW back in 2020, but this will be the first time we've seen FTR and the Young Bucks team up in 3 years, and I feel like that should be really fun. And especially with the ending of their All In match, it definitely gave a signal that we're going to be seeing more than a trilogy from FTR and the Young Bucks. So I think this is going to be a very fun way to just build up some more tension. And it's also just going to be a fantastic match. You got the Young Bucks bringing in fantastic spots. You know how good of chemistry FTR have with Bullet Club Gold, or more particularly Jay White and Juice Robinson. And the Guns have further convinced the wrestling world of just how good of heels they are. And I think it's a really great thing to witness. But as to who I think is going to win this match, maybe the same reason I gave for the last match, since Bullet Club Gold technically got the win at All In because of Konosuke Takeshita. I think because of that, I'd say because of that, they're probably going to get the win here. Yeah, I'll go with FTR and the Young Bucks, even though it will bring a lot more tension between the two, but they are still going to get the victory. And since I did bring up Konosuke, I will bring up the next match with him. It is Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, and Don Callis will be at ringside, and this could be an easy pick for match of the night. Like, Konosuke Takeshita getting that shocking, sneaky roll-up win on Kenny during the match at All In was one of my favorite moments of the night. Just for the fact of how dead silent Wembley was after that pin on Kenny. It was an awesome moment, and it was a great way to boost Konosuke. And this match should be incredible. And Don Callis did a great way to build this up by mentioning that Kenny Omega's hurt, and just to make him weaker, aim for those certain parts, and and Konosuke will be able to beat Kenny Omega. And I feel like their chemistry is going to be fucking incredible. I can't remember if they've had a match on TV. Only like big Konosuke matches I can think of from TV are his matches with Claudio, his matches with Moxley, or his match with Hangman. But I can't remember if they've had a singles match in AEW yet. But regardless, I am super excited for this match. Like I mentioned, the chemistry is going to be insane. Don Callis is going to be a carny piece of shit, causing some hilarious heel spots. And it's really actually unpredictable. Since Konosuke pinned Kenny, you would think that maybe Kenny's going to get the redemption win here. But we've also heard many reports that they want to build Konosuke Takeshita as the next big thing. While he is a heel with Don Callis right now, it is seeming like they're going to want to make Konosuke Takeshita one of the top baby faces of the next few years. So I think a way to do that is having him pin Kenny clean and maybe build tension with him and Don Callis during the match along the way. And I think that would work out really, really well. And I feel like this could be an easy match of the year candidate. And I really hope this leads to a great spotlighted win for Konosuke. And I'm pretty positive after this, all the rest of the matches on this card are championship matches, which they are. And the first championship match I'll get into is Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. This is building up after the coffin match between Darby, Sting, and Swerve and Christian at All In. And I have a feeling this will be good. I feel like Luchasaurus definitely hasn't been able to be as spotlighted as TNT champion because of the way they're working with Christian being a complete dickhead and just claiming himself as TNT champion when he's not. It's a fun gimmick and it really does work. But one thing I really do hope for this match is that it can really bring out some dominant big man spots for Luchasaurus, because while he's still got star power, but that was more so especially because of the fact of how big Jurassic Express was as a team, I want them to make sure they have some really good singles stuff to put out for Luchasaurus. And Darby Allin of all people could sell his attacks brilliantly. So this could be a great way to make Luchasaurus look extra intimidating. And I was wondering, though, because if Darby does win this match, he'll become a 3 or 4 time TNT champion. I think 3 time. And I was wondering if I thought they were actually going to give Darby another TNT title. And I feel like it's possible, but I don't think it's as necessary as it is. I don't think it's that necessary, but so that's why I think I'm going to more so lean toward Luchasaurus getting the win here. There's probably going to be a couple interference spots. Maybe Christian does something to Sting that really keeps Darby distracted. I could see that happening. But or funny enough, imagine Nick Wayne just turn heel on Darby. Can kind of see it, but no, that's probably not going to happen. But Luchasaurus should get the win here, especially since the only really big thing about his TNT title run is the fact that Christian keeps claiming he is TNT champion. So I think more needs to be brought to the table with him as champion. Next championship match that I'll get into is Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho for the TBS championship. This honestly could be the best TBS championship match that we've seen. Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho are both fantastic workers in the ring, and Chris Statlander is a part of the best AEW women's match that I've seen live. Her and Britt Baker at All Out 2021 is legitimately underrated. If you have access to the All Out 2021 pay-per-view, I highly recommend rewatching that match. But Chris Statlander hasn't gotten a big moment since her return and ending Jade Cargill's undefeated streak. So I think this match could be a terrific spotlight for her. I really hope they give this match a lot of time. I really hope they don't try to bring in too many interference spots with the Outcasts. But since they're building up tension with Saraya and Toni Storm, I feel like Ruby Soho is going to just be separated from all that, which I'm glad about. And I'm really excited to see how this match goes. There's almost not a chance that Ruby Soho wins. But because I feel like if you're going to have Chris Statlander end the undefeated streak, you shouldn't have her lose the title at her first defense for it on pay-per-view. I don't see that working. But that should be a really good match, and hopefully Chris Statlander retains the title. And next match that I'll get into is Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor for the ROH World Television Championship. I'll be real, I'm not too familiar with Shane Taylor's career. I've seen a couple 6-man tag team matches of his, and from my research of him, I've also seen that he's also a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion. So it could bring some very fun spots. And since he matches the size of Joe, it could be a very fun, different kind of match that we've seen from Joe compared to the matches we've seen with him this year against people like Darby Allin or CM Punk or anyone like that. For a second, I was like, wait, did he face Punk? Like an idiot. It's 8 in the morning. Sorry. But yes, and because of the fact that I'm not as familiar with Shane Taylor, I'm not really sure what to expect from this, but it's Samoa Joe, and they trust their talents well enough. It should be a good enough match. But there is, like I mentioned with the previous match, there's no way that Samoa Joe is going to be losing the title here. I'd be really shocked if that did end up being the case, especially because Joe has been champion for such a long time that I just don't see that I just don't see that reign ending here. But I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And next match I'll get into is for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Better Than You, Baby will go, and not will go one-on-one. Better Than You, Baby will face the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. Now, sorry, spoiler alert. If you didn't know what happened on Rampage, or if you didn't read the Rampage spoilers, I only really read the Rampage spoilers just so I could know what tag team match would happen, what the tag team match was going to be here. And John Silver and Alex Reynolds are fantastic picks. Almost anytime they have a tag team match together, whether it was a dark match or if it's a Rampage match or a main event Dynamite match, they always fucking kill it. And I'm really excited to see what they can deliver here, especially with talents like MJF and Adam Cole. The possibilities are truly endless. And this one actually is a bit more unpredictable because of the fact that they've been continuing to build tension with MJF and Adam Cole, and we don't really know when one is going to turn on the other. And since we don't really know when one is going to turn, how long do we actually think they're going to be holding the titles? And John Silver and Alex Reynolds would be incredible picks to beat them for those titles. Not only because it could bring great spotlights for them, but they deserve a tag team title run. They've been day one performers for AEW, and they have not held gold yet. And that'd be very earned for them, and I think the crowd would be very happy to see it, and it would be able to build a lot more tension up between MJF and Adam Cole. So I could see Better Than You, Baby getting the win. I do think I'm gonna pull a wild card, and I'm gonna go with the Dark Order. This could be more so my heart talking and not my brain, but whatever. The decision has already been made. And making sure that I didn't miss anything before I go to the last few matches of the card. Yep, I should be good. And was this the last match? Sometimes when I look at this, I don't feel like I actually talked about everything, but it seemed like I did. So I guess I'm thinking this is going to be the main event, but I don't think so. Maybe it probably will, because when it comes to star power, this is probably the biggest match. Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the International Championship. Can't lie, I am fucking stoked for this match. And since I was thinking maybe this isn't the main event, this could be the main event. Since we don't have CM Punk, and we don't have Jack Perry, and we don't have an AEW World Championship match, this could be the main event, and I would be more than happy to see it. Orange Cassidy deserves to main event an AEW pay-per-view, and with Jon Moxley, it would be a great main event. They've been building up to this match really well. As soon as AEW teased the fact that we could be seeing Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy, fans got super excited, and rightfully so. Even with this lazy man sloth gimmick, Orange Cassidy has been continuing to have incredible matches with almost anyone in the AEW roster or anyone in the world of pro wrestling. His match with Will Ospreay remained my favorite AEW match of 2022. And his run as international champion has, honest to God, been the best championship run that is currently going on in AEW. Even with these injuries that he has, he always fucking finds a way to win, and he looks like a freaking megastar. And I am super excited to see what they build up for Orange Cassidy, because I am kind of thinking this is going to be his swan song. And he's been international champion for a long time, and there were plenty of people that I thought he was going to beat That people I thought were going to beat him for the title. I think any of his matches with Swerve, I was almost 90 to 100% convinced that Orange Cassidy was losing. And I was never mad about it because I am a huge fan of Orange Cassidy. And to see him be booked as such a dominant champion is a really great thing to see. And to have him lose to a very big AEW star who is statistically praised as one of the best wrestlers in the world, let alone best wrestlers in AEW. It would be a great opponent for him to lose that title to. And also just because I feel like when you look at this match and see all the obstacles that Orange Cassidy overcame during this reign, I think the time is truly up. It's freaking Jon Moxley. There's only so much you can do. Jon Moxley's gonna sneeze, start bleeding, and then hit a Death Rider or Paradigm Shift. But I cannot wait for this match. This is gonna be incredible. And honestly, if this does become the main event, I would not be mad about it at all. I'll just campaign for it to be the main event at this point. But I do think that Jon Moxley is going to get the win, and he's going to become the new international champion. And I think that's going to do a lot more great things for the belt as well. So it's a win-win situation all around. But those are my predictions for AEW All Out 2023. Overall for the show, I feel like it does feel like it's a bit of a B show, especially because of the fact that it's 1 week after All In Wembley. So I still think this will be a great show. Kenny versus Konosuke and Cassidy versus Moxley are definitely the two most excited matches that I have going into Sunday. But it should still be a great show overall. And that was this episode of the Duke It Out Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and duke out your opinions below in the comments.